You'll gather round, it's time to rise. A holy nation lighting up the skies. God made a plan, we're chosen for a role. Israel, stand up, come reveal your soul. He established a nation, lifted us high. Covenants made, never to die. From the Torah to the mountain, we know our fate. Genesis 28:14, it's never too late. We are blessed, we are favored, we hold the key. The head and not the tail, that's how it's got to be. With the promise of plenty, the world will see. Israel lights up, set the captives free.
Out the ashes, rebuild. Old waste, we replace. Foundations lay strong. No room for disgrace. Brick by brick, true stacked in the face of lies. Shadow shatter quick when the most high rise. From the dark alleys, light floods the corners. Deception crumbles like bricks in the mornings. Modern religion, the web spun tight. But we cut through the silk with a sword of light. With a sword of light, with a sword of light. We the people of the most high. Rise up, called out the darkness, eyes wide, wise up. Building old ways, restoring the path. Breaking down walls with the truth outlast. Chains in the mind, heavy like cement blocks. Religion sell lies, got the people in lock. They profit off fear, selling hope by the ounce. But we flipping the script, watch the truth announced. No pews, no steeples, just hearts that awaken. The path restored, no steps, mistaken deception. Dismantle brick by deceitful brick. We architects of light, foundations thick. Wake 'em up, shake 'em up, sound.
Good? All right. We say Shabbat Shalom. We are on our, what is this? Number 5 lesson? Fourth or fifth? Fifth lesson, we good? Yes, fifth lesson. And Kanuka starts next Saturday, right? Yeah, so we might be on number 6 next Saturday. All right, so we've talked about so much, and I hope that, over the last 4 or 5 weeks, our knowledge and our understanding and our ability to effectively talk about Kanuka has kind of raised. Of course, mine has. So we're thankful of this feast that is getting ready to start. We may do one more. I don't know how many more we can do, but I want to continue to encourage you, read through uh-oh. Wait a minute, what do you, oh, I see it. Yeah. Look, we have different colors, so I thought I had a different one. So I want to encourage you to continue to read through the book of the Maccabees, continue to reflect on the lessons that we've had over the last 4 or 5 weeks. These lessons is so important. We're going to talk about setting our hopes on Yehovah. And we're going to kind of start closing out with the Feast of Dedication. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge our churches, Bethel Temple and College here in Chicago. We say Shabbat Shalom to you. To those that are in Nashville, Tennessee. To our church in Coral Springs, Florida, and Dominican Republic, we say Shabbat Shalom. We say Shabbat Shalom to our church in East and West Africa. Can you guys hear me? You guys, am I low? Minister Yosef over there? Okay. All right, I'm going to talk a little louder until they tell me to be quiet back there. No, we fine. I'm going to talk a little louder. Okay, so we want to welcome all those that may be joining us via our live stream on Facebook at #MyRestorationGospel, or they may be joining us on YouTube at #MyRestorationGospel. We want to say Shabbat Shalom and welcome to you. All right, so We're going to talk about the hope that this feast allowed us to have. And as I continue to meditate and read through it, it's just amazing how the things that were going on um, during this time, during this Hellenistic period. I was reading in the first book of Maccabees just yesterday that King Antiochus went into Jerusalem. It went into Judah, went into Solomon's temple, and was destroying the vessels. And just thinking about the blessing that this feast is for the entire world. And how dare you, right? You do something for your kids, take your kids to Disneyland, and then as soon as you come back home 4 hours later, I'm bored, right? You ready to go upside their head. But just think about the sacrifice that the Maccabees made. Think about how Yah delivered us during that time so that we can have the books of the law, so that he can come. And we don't think that that's worthy to be honored. Me and my wife was looking at a documentary before it was looking at us last night. And it's just funny, like how time, you know how we say, like, there are certain things that are normalized. When it happens for so long, it's normalized among the world. And so is the acknowledgement and the worship of Christ. So much going on that just saying, praying. How many people that you've been out with who call themselves Christians just even bow their head and pray before they eat? Right? So really reflecting on what happened during this time and just giving Yah honor, just acknowledging in your own mind and thanking him for what he's done. It seemed like a small task. We got religious freedom. We got a chance of salvation, right? And so people don't even do that. So we have to resurrect. I forget what Apostle used to say about Christ, restoring Christ, or I forget what we were saying about Christ. But we got to restore this. We're responsible for restoring this. Amen? So let's look at it. I set my hope on you, Yehovah, the Feast of Dedication, the final chapter. Although this might not be the final chapter. This might be the final to the final chapter.
Penultimate.
So if I can get somebody to read, and although our speakers aren't on, we are on. So we're going to read about the hope for the future generations.
Hope for the future generations. There are so many great points that we can draw from the story of the Feast of Dedication. One of the most important conclusions that we discovered was that the coming of the Messiah could not have occurred if the plan of King Antiochus was fulfilled. Remember, the plan directed the people of God to follow customs strange to the land. It forbidded burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the sanctuary. It caused the people to profane the Sabbaths and festivals and to defile the sanctuary and the priests.
Do you know that you can't get into the kingdom without keeping the Sabbath, without entering into his rest?
Right.
You can't get into the kingdom without keeping his holy feast days. You're going to say, well, I mean, I'm not disobeying the law. They making me disobey the law. You know, Yah is, do you remember in the Feast of Purim when the king made a decree that the Jews were going to die in one day? And once he did it, it was set. He couldn't undo that decree. You know, Yah can't undo his decrees. When he told you to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy, you know you got to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy? That you're going to have to find a way to keep the Sabbath holy? Right? So it's like my logo when I had my health food business. It was no excuses, just results. And it's the same thing with Yah. So although they were being persecuted, you couldn't say that, well, we just can't keep the Sabbath. You had to keep the Sabbath. You had to be circumcised. You said, well, they're going to kill me. Now, I say this all the time. What a decision to make as a woman or as a father, but especially as a woman. You got 8 days to have your child circumcised. What are you going to do? You seen they killed your sister. Oh, you seen they killed your friend for doing it. What are you going to do? I'm not going to even ask you what would you do because you never been faced with death. Now, I know you've had babies and they said that's close, right, Dr. Tate? It's close to death. Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. Yeah, people died in labor, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think they feel like I'm about to die in labor. No, I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm saying if you got to make a choice, if you seen somebody right next to you that was executed for circumcising, you're going to think twice about doing it when you do in 3 weeks. So what are you going to do? You got to get it done. You got to get it done. Are you going to be selfish and say, well, I'm saved. Little Junior. Hey, listen, I guarantee you somebody did it. Because there was a lot in Israel that they said we're gonna do. I told you last week. Matter of fact, some of them went to the king, say, hey, let us do wrong. You know, because it's been tough for us. We want to be friends with the kings, right? You suffer enough, you go through enough stuff. Most people in the temple your faith is not where you think it is. Oh, you can shout hallelujah because you got you some red bottoms and you got your little money in your pocket and things are going well. Right? But wait till things start going bad. Wait till persecution come. Wait till they tell you fired. Wait till they tell you losing your house or you sick. You got some things going on with you. And then our faith is tested. So Yah's going to show everybody their own heart. And when persecution came, Israel's heart was exposed. Okay? Let's keep reading.
Physical circumcision, which was a requirement, could no longer be performed on the newborns and the nation of Yisrael. The people of El was to make themselves abominable by everything unclean and profane. This also included disavowing the law of Moses. It is important for us to understand the dire situation that the children of Yisrael was in during this period. They knew they had to fight for their salvation as well as for the future generations that were to come.
So the Bible said that the king told them, and I'm trying to quote it correct. I think he said, make your souls abominable. Ain't that something? Hey, he didn't say make your body or make yourself. He said make your souls abominable. So he's telling you, you're going to hell if you do what I tell you. Make your souls abominable. Some people made the tough decision that we rather die. Let our blood testify. Right? And that's what some people did. So what's your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Anybody thoughts about what we just we got 2 more microphones up here. Just what are your thoughts so far about all of kind of what we talked about, especially this summary of the hope for the future, having great men and women. You know, we're supposed to be doing that. We in the temple that are adults, you should be focusing and concentrating on making the future generation, the future, not just your biological kids, but the future nation of Israel. The things that we are dealing with, they shouldn't have to deal with. They shouldn't have to deal with a broken boiler. If the boiler busts, they be like, hey, come out tomorrow and replace it. Right? So what are we doing? I feel like I'm whispering. Okay. What are we doing to make it better? I told Elder Nate today or yesterday, you got to have an intention. You got to be intentional on moving the movement forward. How many people are intentional? Not very few, because you know what, folks? They come here, they say shalom, and they come in here and clap their hands. They come to class, they chit chat and fellowship, and then they go home. That's for your soul. That's for you. But what have you done to make 5 years from now better? To make the nation more efficient and effective in getting this message across. Okay? Brother Alonzo?
Shabbat shalom. I mean, you just asked for comments, Elder Al, and I think that last comment you made about how, the king wanted Israel to make their souls abominable. I just, that's so crazy to me to hear that because it's like, well, wait a minute, the king had to have some insight on what would cause their souls to be abominable. So it's like, the right thing to do is to follow El's laws, and you also know not following his laws and doing all these profane things are going to make your soul abominable, and yet you still choose to not do the things that El said to do. So I just thought that was interesting. Another thing too is that we often hear the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And if you make your soul abominable, well, your flesh don't really have to fight as much because now your soul is already abominable.
Sure.
It's going to be really easy to just stay in sin and, do everything contrary to El's law.
Yeah.
So I just told y'all for your commentary and this lesson.
Well, watch this. All of you all have King Antiochus in your life that's trying to make your souls abominable. First, yeah. Did we read that already? Before? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? There are people like, come on, well, man, what's up? I know it's Sabbath, but hey, young folks, I don't care if you're married. They're trying to make your soul abominable. There are people that invite you to places on the Shabbat to cause you to break the Shabbat. Right? You just like the king, not keeping the Shabbat. Yeah, you don't have nobody putting a sword up to your neck, but it's the same thing. Don't keep the Shabbat. Right? So we are living, we're talking about today, Minister Yosef, about it's a different culture, but it's the same today. The devil don't have to threaten you with a sword. All he got to do is give you a good time. So he don't have to do all of these things that was happening back then because them people were troopers. Our grandparents were troopers. Our grandparents did things that we dare not to do. When I say we, I'm just saying as a whole. She'd be like, I'm not taking a bus. I just do church online. I'm not taking no bus. An hour and a half. When Big Mom and them took the bus to go get groceries and stuff like that. Right? They hung in there. They fought. They struggled. They rolled their sleeves up. Today it's not. It's, devil like, oh, really? Really? All I got to do is offer you a job making $40 an hour? And you're going to say, well, we not in our land, so, I got to go work. I got a baby. So it's just, man, I focus so much on drawing an analogy between the past and the future, and I see the same thing. We talked about the way they felt when you saw your aunt or you saw your friend get killed and the sickness that you feel when you get a call about somebody that they had the same feelings. So, this is all amazing. Dr. Tate.
Just listening to the most recent commentary, it's really fascinating how far away from the truth the world has come collectively, that it doesn't require the threat of death.
Sure.
For people to do whatever, right? Like, there was a threat of death. It's still maybe not the right choice that they made to stop circumcising, to stop keeping the Sabbath, to stop reading the books of the law, to stop doing all these things that they knew to be the word of El. But you don't need the threat of death for people to work on the Sabbath.
Right.
You don't need the threat of death for people to not open their Bible. Like, it's now so pervasive that, like, the threat of physical death is not necessary to cause people to not serve the Yehovah.
Yeah. Man. Anybody else? Okay. Let's go ahead and move on and read Psalms, the 78th. Did we finish that paragraph? Oh, we didn't start it? Ooh, I talk too much. No, did we read physical circumcision, which is what the crime? Okay. Let's read Psalm 78, 1 through 7.
Psalms chapter 78, verse 1 through 7. O my people, listen to my instructions. Open your ears to what I am saying, for I will speak to you in a parable. I will teach you hidden lessons from our past, stories we have heard and known, stories our ancestors handed down to us. We will not hide these truths from our children. We will tell the next generation about the glorious deeds of the Yehovah, about his power and his mighty wonders. For he issued his laws to Jacob. He gave his instructions to Yisrael. He commanded our ancestors to teach them to their children, so that the next generation might know them, even the children not yet born, and they in turn will teach their own children. So each generation should set its hope anew on Elohim, not forgetting his glorious miracles and obeying his commands.
So our hope. You said what, Doctor? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So our hope comes in passing down the ancient. Well, if I could just take one generation and separate it, I've caused a breach. And so our responsibility is not then to just come here and to keep it for ourselves. Yeah, you teach your children. You know why? Not so that they can just teach their children, but so that they can be a witness. He says, ye are my witnesses. I'm going to challenge you today. You may not have to do what I'm doing the way I'm doing it. But I say again, what are you doing to perpetuate this to the entire world? What are you doing? So we all have this responsibility, right? And I want us to think about that every day. What can I do to help? Okay. All right, good. Let's go. And I think we're going to read just a little bit of the Maccabees. I don't think we read this. Okay. So we're going to read real quick from First Maccabees, the second chapter. And we may stop along the way. And if you got something to add or some commentary as we go through. Feel free to stop and make a commentary. Let's go ahead and start reading.
First Maccabees 2 and 15 through 22 and 27 through 41. The king's officers who were enforcing the apostasy came to town of Modin to make them offer sacrifice. Many from Israel came to them, and Mattathias and his sons were assembled. Then the king's officers spoke to Mattathias as follows: You are a leader, honored and great in this town, and supported by sons and brothers.
Gonna butter them up.
Now be the first to come and do what the king commands, as all the Gentiles and the people of Judah and those that are left in Jerusalem have done. Then you and your sons will be numbered among the friends of the kings, and you and your sons will be honored with silver and gold and many gifts. But Mattathias answered and said in a loud voice, Even if all the nations that live under the rule of the king obey him and have chosen to obey his commandments, every one of them abandoning the religion of their ancestors, I and my sons and my brothers will continue to live by the covenant of our ancestors. Far be it from us to desert the law and the ordinances. We will not obey the king's words by turning aside from our religion to the right hand or to the left.
Now, that took a lot of guts because there were some things going on, like for a number of years. And they were aware of those things and the massacres that were going on. I'm saying you don't really know yourself until you put in a position to know yourself. Right? We talk all that. I wish they would tell. I wish I was a slave back then. Hit me with that whip. They hit you with that whip, and you gonna pick faster. So you talk, because you're not in the moment, right? you don't know what you will do. I tell a story about, we talking about we don't call them names. Some have them call them their name. When that dog came out after me, I said some names, but it wasn't Yasha. And I said, ooh, right? Because when things happen that quick and the fear hits you. So, yeah, we should, right? So, yeah, there we go. All right, let's keep reading. We're on it. Yep.
Then Mattathias cried out in the town with a loud voice, saying, "Let everyone who is zealous for the law and supports the covenant come out with me." Then he and his sons fled to the hills and left all that they had in the town. At that time, many who were seeking righteousness and justice went down to the wilderness to live there. They, their sons, their wives, and their livestock, because troubles pressed heavily upon them. And it was reported to the king's officers and to the troops in Jerusalem, the city of David, that those who had rejected the king's command had gone down to the hiding places in the wilderness. Many pursued them and overtook them. They encamped opposite them and prepared for battle against them on the Sabbath day. Then they said to them, "Enough of this. Come out and do what the king commands, and you will live." But they said, "We will not come out, nor will we do what the king commands, and so profane the Sabbath day." Then the enemy quickly attacked them, but they did not answer them, or hurl a stone at them, or block up their hiding places.
So the Bible said that the enemy attacked, and they said, we're not going to fight back. We're not going to attack back, okay?
But they did not answer them, or hurl a stone at them, or block up their hiding places. For they said, "Let us all die in our innocence. Heaven and earth testify for us that you are killing us unjustly." So they attacked them on the Sabbath, and they died, and their wives and children and livestock, to the number of 1,000 persons. When Mattathias and his friends learned of it, they mourned for them deeply. And all said to their neighbors, "If we all do as our kindred have done and refuse to fight with the Gentiles for our lives and for our ordinances, they will quickly destroy us from the earth." So they made this decision that day: "Let us fight against anyone who comes to attack us on the Sabbath day. Let us not all die as our kindred died in their hiding places."
Now, we talk about this, Minister Yosef. The children of Israel who went down and into the wilderness, they thought that they were doing the right thing. They said, we honor the Sabbath because we're not going to work on the Sabbath and we're not going to fight on the Sabbath. And this is why you need inspired leaders, because in their mind, we're going to defile. We're going to defile the Sabbath if we fight. Hey, listen. Well, I can, you ain't on the mic, but that one of those worked. That
Their whole purpose of saying that they were going to stand on righteousness was they were not going to defile the ordinances. They were not going to defile the Sabbath. And so that also included then not fighting.
yeah, they said fighting is going to defile the Sabbath. This is why you have to have inspired leaders. Hey, that's how all of Israel thought: we defile the Sabbath if we fight. Now, you got to be a strong person, because, you going to sit there and let folks come in there with swords, and you see them stabbing your babies, and you just going to sit there. You just lay down, let them stab you and cut your throat. And that's what they did. Now, that's some faith for your behind. Just say, I'm going to just stay here and let you kill me because I'm not going to defile the Sabbath. And that was their understanding, right? But the leaders, the prophets, right, the holy people that came from a holy priesthood said, listen, I'm telling y'all right now, if these folks come at us like they came after our brothers and sisters, we ain't going to do like them, because then we all going to die. We going to fight. And they told Israel, you going to fight too. Now, those that were followers, they fought. You know what the punishment was? You may not look at it as a punishment. I'm, the Bible don't say it, but I'm sure that there were people like, no, Mattathias, they wrong. They defiling the Sabbath. I'm not going to fight. And they died. And you think that you were dying in righteousness. You died in your ignorance. So you got to understand the importance of being obedient. We fathers and mothers, and I wish I had some young people here, because the Bible says to obey your mother and father in Yehovah. Now, I'm not saying obey well, I don't want to get into that, but obey your mother, father in Yehovah, because they got wisdom. And you start doing your own thing and being disobedient. They told you, don't go out this house after 8 o'clock or after 9 o'clock. And then you sneak out of the house and you get killed, or you get hurt, or you get raped. And you might be a good kid, but that disobedience, there was a price to pay for being disobedient. You know, there's a price to pay. And the church here don't believe that. There's a price to pay when you're disobedient to the order of the church. I'm not talking about me, per se. But I'm talking about anybody who's leading the church over the next 10 or 15 or 20 or 100 years. There's a curse. Now, we'll get into all that. I mean, you got to believe, and if you don't believe, y'all's not going to put people in a position to lead you the wrong way. That we got enough sense to know. I'm not going to tell Minister Yosef, it's the Shabbat. I know we done at 3:30, man. You got to say it at 12 o'clock. Right? You start saying things, and you cause people to rebel. So you don't take these positions that you have just to flex. But these men said, we going to fight. Okay. Hebrews, the 4th chapter, verse 9 and 10.
There remains then a Sabbath rest for the people of Elohim. For anyone who enters El's rest also rests from their works, just as El did from his.
Do you know that, man, there are so many things, Brother Lonzo, that we can just preach on by itself that can revolutionize and change the world? That in order to enter into Yah's rest, you must first keep his day of rest. So whether it's because of your own free will, if it's because of persecution, if you don't enter into his day of rest, you can't enter into his rest. Enter into his day of rest is a part of him. That causes us to have a relationship with him. So you may be, what they say, living fat off the hog. Is that the saying? Living fat off the hog? Never mind. Don't even worry about it. We talk about it afterwards. Look at our take on Google it. Yes, ma'am. You got something? Okay, cool. Let me know when you got it, Dr. Tate.
I was
Got to educate these folks.
Yeah, please educate me because I have no idea.
You found it? Yeah. What'd it say? Hold on.
Living high on the hog.
Laying high off the hog.
It means to live a life of luxury and comfort, enjoying the best of everything. Was that what you were trying to say? Okay, very good.
Yeah. I was off on a word. You ain't never heard that, Minister Yosef? My mom and daddy from his. Who had the hand up? Yes.
I'm just reading through this chapter in Maccabees, and it's just so different from in the book of Jeremiah. I think we talk about it sometimes where the Yehovah told Jeremiah to tell the people to consider the old paths.
Yeah.
These people from the Maccabees, they were willing to walk in the way. Mm-hmm. And it's just so I'm just putting them or juxtaposing them together, and it's just like it's so different from the people of the times of Jeremiah when he was trying to get them to go in the path of righteousness, and they just would not.
Yeah. But listen, when you look in the Bible from Moses on to 2025, there was always a number of people in Israel that was worse than the Gentiles. Right? We get this thing that they Israel. I'm not moved by it. Right? That's your business. If you say it, you say it. There'll be people who will be with you for 25, 30, 40 years that are never true Israel. Right? And we may have seen some instances, for those who've been here for a little bit, we may have seen some instances of people who were here. I'm not even talking about as the apostle, but Dr. Tate, you know people who've been here, called themselves Israel, left here, still call themselves Israel. Right? So, yeah, that part. Okay. Let's keep reading. Where are we at? Wait. Where are we at? Did we finish this? Oh, yeah, we did read. That's right. All right.
Who changed the truth
Who trains
into
the
a
truth
lie?
into a lie?
The influence of another culture.
Okay, so remember we talking about another culture. It's a different culture, but it's the same culture because it's the same plan. All right, you got something, Dr. Tate?
Said the devil turned the truth into a lie from the beginning.
Yeah,
You won't surely die. Like
Sure.
not surely.
sure. Okay.
There is a strong spiritual connection that people share with celebrating the holidays. All spirits are not of El, God. 1 John 4:1 said, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world.
Minister Yosa, what does that mean to, if you can commentate, if you have anything, try the spirits, whether they are of El. How do we try the spirits and see whether they are of El?
You what that means is to try the spirit to see if it is of El. It means to test that spirit to see, is this of El? Is this something in line with El's will?
Okay.
That's how you test the spirit.
Okay. Can somebody expound on what he said? The test. How do we test to see if it's of God's will? Dr. Tate or Ronnie or
I think
whoever.
a part of it is seeing if it aligns with the word of El.
Mm-hmm.
Like people say things and, if it sounds good and they sound passionate, but if it's going against the word of El, then clearly it's not of El.
Okay. You have something else?
So I was going to say what Sister Ronnie said, but also if it doesn't align with what the leaders, with what the prophets have said, with what the elders are saying, then we know that it's not the word of El.
Okay. So we were go ahead, Dr. Tate.
And I just want to say something that the verse did not say. I think that people commonly misquote this verse and say, try the spirit by the spirit. And it's
People
like,
say it all the
I
time.
don't know where that came from.
All the time.
Because that doesn't make sense. You have to do the things that, the two, that part. The things that those who spoke before me said, line it up with the word, just like you can identify a false prophet to see if what they're telling you takes you, toward Yah or away from him. And so does what you're hearing line up with the word of the prophets and the law? Because El doesn't have a confused spirit that is speaking to you. If he told you to keep the Sabbath and some other spirit is telling you not to, there's not confusion in the
Sure.
spirit of God.
Sure.
So you have to line it up with what the Spirit of God has told his prophets, has told his chief shepherds, his elders, that are all documented in the word of the law.
Yeah. We were looking at something last night, and I was telling my wife, I said, do you know that the world they don't understand deception. Like they don't understand deception. Because if you Deception makes you not even know that you're being deceived. And so, how many billions of people read the Bible? Oh no, I tried. I looked in the Word. I looked in the Word. If you don't have an understanding or the correct interpretation, I don't care if you read the Bible 18 hours a day. The documentary we were looking at yesterday, man, they was hitting it. They were hitting all the points about deception and religion and this and that. They ain't coming here. They not Israel. So all that good documentary, there are some things that they still miss. Even if you educate it. They saying that God had or Christ or there's a Sabbath day in the documentary. Yeah, you saying the Sabbath day, but you calling yourself a 7-day Adventist, or you're part of Jews from Jesus, or you're part of a Messianic congregation, or things. But the Bible said that the Sabbath is a covenant between El and Israel. So although they acknowledging that religion has made this transfer, they brought up Constantine, the Catholic Church. There was a change. They're acknowledging the change. But there are some things that will still keep you deceived. So Satan is going to trick you on several different levels. Now, I'm saying this. If you are one, because I'm a relationship expert, right? If you are a woman, if you are if you are a woman and this guy is dressed all, got a wife beat on, he down at what do you call it, Taste of Chicago and this and that. Some women be like, oh, he cute. Some people like, hey, the way he and that's west side of Chicago. But no, listen. No, hear me out. Hear me out. There are some people that accept the guy on that level. And there are a lot of people that won't. But as you start going down or up levels, whatever. No, but so what I'm saying is that there are different levels to what you'll accept. What is okay with you. And so if the devil can get you, or if he can't get you on religion, yeah, the Sabbath has been changed. Well, you still don't understand that the Sabbath is the sign between Yah and Israel. If you somehow say that you Israel, you may miss that the Sabbath is a holy convocation. And at holy convocation, you got to celebrate the Sabbath in his house. So there are different levels to this thing. Satan just don't get you on that one level, right? Okay. Did we finish?
No, not quite. This spirit that overcomes them is so strong, it oftentimes supersedes truth. The book of Romans asks the question, who changed the truth of El into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator? This is a spiritual fight, and it is important for us to fight in the spirit. How did the world come to accept the birth of Christ, combined with a plethora of pagan practices, was somehow okay? Satan over the years has been successful in changing the narrative. Changing the narrative is synonymous with changing the story. What the enemy has successfully done over time is to take actual facts, the Bible, and combine it with misinterpretations and or traditions which are not biblical. It is this second part which causes man to be separated from the love and promises of El.
So if you continue to do something enough, you can change the narrative. How many people have listened to a song before, you didn't like the song? And then maybe after the 15th or 20th time, you guilty? You was like, man, that's, huh? And then you start liking the song, right? You're like, man, this is a jam. But you might have been listening to it for 2 or 3 months. Hearing it like, turn that off. I don't like that. But at some point, right? So changing the narrative is the same. But if you wouldn't have heard the song 19 more times, it wouldn't have changed. So this is what commercials do. This is what advertisers and marketers do. They try to keep saying and keep doing it. And then at some point, you're like, man, let me try that. Or you gonna go to the store, and that commercial gonna come back to you. You might grab it. So this is what Satan does. And I talk about this when I talk about the Crusaders and I talk about Islam. They kept saying it enough and kept pushing their religion enough. People started hearing it. And then they started accepting it little by little. And then you have a complete paradigm shift in your life. And so let's read that, Isaiah, the 5th chapter. I got a bad copy.
Isaiah 5:20.
No, I'm fine. You guys, if you guys can read it, I can see it
Woe
here.
unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Somebody interpret that for me. Give me understanding. What does that mean? What do you mean, Brother Leon?
Shalom.
Shalom.
It looks like it's saying that like you gotta watch out for people that switch the narrative, basically. But like specifically for
You said that switch the narrative.
yeah.
How do we know what the real narrative is?
You read
Read.
and like
Read a comic
understand.
book?
I mean, like the Bible. The Bible.
Okay.
You read the Bible and you understand what's the truth.
Okay.
And when people try to switch the truth, that's how you know it's a lie.
Okay.
And then it's wrong.
Okay. Toda.
You gotta watch out for
Dr.
it.
Tate.
That was beautiful, brother Leon. I would add to that, in addition to watching out for the people that do that, I think this is also telling us that woe to those people. Like, it's a warning. It's an indication of danger, of a problem that will come unto you when you swap good and evil. Oftentimes, these people are under a deception.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're not going to knowingly, for the most part, have something evil and be like, oh, no, that's good. Someone's going to convince you that that's good, right? You go back to the story of Adam and Eve, and basically Satan just had to change the narrative and make you think that this thing that is not meant for you is like, oh, this is going to be great for you. It's going to be so wonderful. So much knowledge, right? You will surely die.
Yeah.
And so part of the success of flopping good and evil is the deception and you not being aware of the deception. But that doesn't mean that it's not dangerous to you still having that swap of sweet and bitter, having that swap of good and evil and not realizing it. There's still a consequence that's attached to that.
Okay.
Maybe I'm jumping ahead a bit. Shalom, everyone. But I just saw this picture here. If you're trying to put Christ back into Christmas, you've got another Christ. And just a couple of weeks ago, I had a
Read the whole thing. If you're
Okay.
trying to put Christ.
yeah. If you're trying to put Christ back into Christmas, you've got another Christ, because he was never there in the first place. And one of my next door neighbors, or former next door neighbors, he made a post on Facebook, and he professed, I hate when they call it Xmas because they took Christ out of Christmas.
Yeah.
And just going along with this lesson, hey, you calling good evil and evil good, you know, like you try to make it, you change the narrative, you know. Christmas was never good, and if anything, I don't know the origin of Xmas, but if it was called that
There's
rather
somebody
than
too
Christmas,
lazy to write CHRIST.
yeah, and it's just crazy, you know. I don't know how he got in that mindset, like, hey, you know, Christ belongs in Christmas, but that's what this reminded me of.
Yeah.
And yes, it's some saints in here who will comment on that post and, you know, try to enlighten them. And I wish I had that spirit sometimes,
Yeah.
because I would want to do that, but I don't want to jump into this, you know, this whole conversation.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me ask a question. What is the deception of evil? There's a deception of evil. Does anybody know what is? I'm trying to ask the question without giving an answer. Evil. There's a deceptive nature of something being evil. Minister Yosei. Yeah, I was trying to formulate it, Dr. Ted, because I didn't want to give it away, but
Well, actually, it's what that Bible verse. Evil appears. The deception is it appears to be as something that's good, or
yeah,
it'll give a benefit of.
yeah,
What's it'll give out the benefits, sell
Yeah.
you on the benefits, when in actuality it's going to destroy you.
yeah, yeah. So feeding, so while I work in the soup kitchen, I feed the hungry. Is that a good thing? Yeah, but if you do it in place of keeping the Sabbath, is it an evil thing? Right. So, well, I'm acknowledging Christ. I'm acknowledging His birth. I love Jesus. Right. So in your mind, it's a good thing. You're doing good. It's a good thing. And so the problem is people don't understand that whenever you go against Yah's word, it's evil. It's evil because it separates you from Yah and it separates you from the kingdom. Although you think you're doing an admirable thing, it's a bad thing. No matter how good you think it is. That's why the Bible says, try the spirit and see if it's of God. You can read the Bible verse, but you don't know how to try the spirit until you talk. How can they hear without a preacher? And how can he preach? Now, listen, I can preach to you. I can teach to you. And you go and talk to others, but what you talking to others about is what I've given you. Right? So it all has to come back to the source. What I'm giving you is what Yah has given and helped me to understand, but what I understand came from what the chief apostle gave. And what the chief apostle gave came from Yah. And I can go to the scriptures and prove that it came from Yah. So even though we read all this and people all over the world will read the same Bible verses, there's still a mystery to understanding what good and evil is. There's a mystery of understanding how you use the Bible, right, to understand the true will of Yah. All right, somebody had their hand up.
I was just thinking about this one focus group I was looking at on one of the social media channels. And it was a small group of people, and the moderator asked if everyone could come and have a seat if they believe that God is real and right and the devil is evil.
Say that again.
Only one, okay.
No, just say that last part you said.
The moderator posed a question to the group, asking them to take a seat if they believe that God is real and right and righteous, and if Satan was evil. Only one person from the focus group came and had a seat, and there was this one woman who did not take her seat, and she kind of because some people started to sit, but then they stood because she's began to speak, and she was telling them, well, Satan really gave us freedom of choice. If he said that, you won't surely die, right? You'll just have more knowledge. That's like freedom of choice. Just the same way if someone wanted to change their gender or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. She posed it in a way to make it seem like Satan gives us more options and not forces us down a path. And everyone kind of started to agree with her, and it made it seem like Satan was like the good guy. Wow. And I saw it playing out in real time, and she was very convincing. She was very convincing, but it showed me how deception works in real time.
And so, people will accept Satan. People will accept Satan. It's like you call them, I don't want to say the wrong thing. How do you say it? Closet somebody or whatever. You in the closet. Hey, people in the closet with Satan. While they say they accept God, they accept Satan. Because when you accept, I call it reprobate. I mean, you ain't fully reprobated because you haven't been exposed. What action show? But you don't know you playing both sides. You understand what I'm saying? With your mouth, the Bible says in Matthew 15, with your lips you honor me, but their heart is far from me. teaching for doctrine and commandments of men. So that's why I said it's kind of a reprobated mind. I love you, God, but you're doing all devil stuff.
Well, because the narrative is that the devil stuff, the sin, is not really a sin.
It's not a sin.
And God loves me no matter what. And he came and he died for my sins so I can be as devilish as I want to be. And he's still going to love me. And he's still going to accept me. And my sins that I will continually do will not be counted against me. Because that's the deception. That's the narrative. He died for my sins. So what do I have to do?
Well, yeah.
That's a deception that's been so pervasive. It's just like you're crazy if you don't buy into the perception.
Yeah.
Satan has had the benefit of time,
Sure.
right, to perfect this.
Well, Dr. Tate, my point is it's deeper. Hold on. It's deeper than you saying that Satan died for my sin. It's deeper than that. Because you put your... Huh? Oh, yeah, you know what I mean. You know I'm kind of crazy. Christ. No, I was going to say something about Christ. No, I was going to say something about Satan. But it's deeper than saying Christ died for my sin. Because you're talking about acknowledging sin, but he died. No. When you put your suit on and you get up and you go to Sunday school or you go to church, you're not thinking you sinning. You're not thinking you serving Satan. But you serving Satan. Because Yah told you to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. So I'm talking about this sin that exists. I'm saying that you serving Satan, although with your mouth you say I'm serving God. You saying that I'm saved, but with your actions you really lost. And so that's why I'm talking about this deception is much deeper. I'm not talking about people say, well, he died for my sin. I'm talking about people who actually believe that they are doing God's will. Every week they actually believe that they worshiping him in spirit. Oh, God was in there. God showed up and showed out. God wasn't in there. Yeah, I still ain't watched The Matrix. I'll watch The Matrix when you watch the book of Eli because you haven't looked at that yet. So, yeah, so this thing is listen, there are times where I've been doing this for a number of years, and there are times where I just be sitting back and reading or writing, or I be doing some things. I'm like, I thought I couldn't be shocked, but I get into this space where I just can't understand, just on the simplest level, that if I show somebody that God changes not and that he gave the Sabbath for a perpetual covenant, and you say I'm a Christian, but I show you that Christ did the very thing that we talking about. And it's going to be coming new heaven, the new heaven and the new earth. And you won't do it. Man, what's wrong with you? Is that a reprobated mind? Yeah, but see, then you missed the whole point that I just made, right? And so, yeah, you're going to try to find other things to say, but you didn't deal with what I said. I'm going to make the thesis. Deal with that. They can't deal with that. Because people have gotten to this point where the devil, I think it was a Daniel, the 9th chapter, that he would think to change times and law. And if he can do it for such a long enough time, through the 4th century and 5th century and 6th century, 7th century, and all the way to the 20th, if I can do it for long enough, they'll say, I don't have to do nothing. I done put it in play already. It's done so long that just the mere traditions, your family, your culture, your environment is going to keep you. I don't have to babysit you. He gave you a phone like folks do to kids. I don't have to babysit them. Get them an iPad and get them a phone. And I can go in a room and do whatever. And when I come back, they still going to be glued to their phone. So Satan has done that. Okay. All right, where we at? Modern Christian world's perception. Again, we're talking about this culture that existed during the Maccabean revolt, the culture that existed during the Hellenistic period, and it's repackaged in a 21st century way. Okay? Is that Ebenezer? All right, come on.
Christians' perception is that if you don't celebrate Christmas, you don't honor the greatest gift given to man, which is Yashach Mashiach, Jesus Christ. We cannot allow friends, family, or the world's perception to become our reality. Acknowledging the great hope that Mashiach birth brought to the world does not take away the biblical warning not to learn or participate in pagan practices.
Was his birth a good thing?
It was. It is. Okay.
Yeah. His birth was a great thing. But we can't throw our own traditions on it and then turn around and look at us funny because we don't do what your tradition says. Now, I don't know if people are going to say, well, he brought baby Jesus some gifts and some myrrhs and frankincense and gold and silver. Right. That wasn't a celebration of his birthday. They were celebrating the birth of a king. And they did that to all kings. It wasn't just him. Okay? What did I say wrong, Dr. Tate? I'm trying to correct my vocabulary. That's what I said. What I say? Frankincense? Frankincense?
Some traditions are so bad that it makes the commandment of El of none effect.
So what does that mean? That it makes it, some traditions are so bad that it makes the word of God of none effect. What does that mean? Does anybody give me any context to what that means?
Well, what I get from this is that whatever this tradition is something that goes in direct conflict to the word of El. Because, as we've talked about before, not every tradition that a family or a culture or people might have is in and of itself pagan or bad or something that you can't do. But when you have something that goes in conflict with the word of Elohim, that makes his word non-effect. If you've now put what you've decided to make a tradition be more valuable over the word of Elohim. So this example being Christmas, there are pagan traditions all mixed in this. Not to mention the fact that you're using pagan traditions in the worship of Christ in a way that he never told you to. So you're making the word of Elohim of non-effect because you are directly going against what the word says because you decided that this tradition is more valuable and more right than what God has said.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Minister Joseph?
I was going to say that just like when Mashiach, when he came, the Pharisees were trying to attack him because his disciples didn't wash their hands. And Mashiach, his answer was, why are you making void the law of El by your doctrines and commandments of man? So when men began to create laws and say that you must follow them, then they are forgetting what El has already said. So now you making Yah's laws of no effect. So that tradition has basically made the people
Right.
forget the true law.
Right. Amen. Do you know, is prayer a good thing? Prayer is a good thing. But do you know that the words, well, let me say it the way it's said here, that you make your prayer of non-effect by your traditions. What does that mean? That means you can get on your knees and pray. He said, whatsoever you ask in my name, you praying in the wrong name. Is that prayer being heard? He said, I hear not a sinner's prayer. You're not keeping the Sabbath, but you're praying. Your prayer is of non-effect. Now, you surviving off of grace. You're surviving because he's making intercessor because you don't know. Totally out for the intercessor. Because most of us, the intercessor, held death away from us when we wasn't in the truth. When you were eating the things that you shouldn't have been eating and saying the things you shouldn't have been saying and doing the things that you shouldn't have been doing. The intercessor went before El and held back death. So I'm not saying that everybody immediately, but at some point, the intercessor is going to stop interceding. Because he says that my people shall know my name. Now, what I look like interceding for you and you not in the truth? Why would I give you the same benefits and allowing you 120 years, calling on the wrong name? Why am I going to give you the same benefit that I gave my people? Why would I hear you the same way I'm going to hear my people who's keeping the commandments? So everything you doing is of non-effect. I'm not talking about his grace. I'm not talking about what he's doing. You're not in his truth. And listen, you can live to be 100 years old. Because there's some heathens that live a long time and still not spend eternity with him. So this is major. What's the word when there's a big breakout, like COVID or something? This is epidemic, pandemic, all those demics. It's all that. It's all that. We don't understand. We think about the health crisis and COVID and stuff like that as these pandemics. The Bible, in your ignorance, in your pursuit of religion, is a horrible thing that separate you from Yah. Okay, let's keep reading.
The origins of Christmas will forever be tied to paganism, and its promotion and celebration is causing millions of people to learn and love the way of the heathen.
So I don't even know, what more I can say about that. All right. Anything else?
Well, let's read this quote right here.
Let's read. I was reading it.
Life is all about perception. Positive versus negative. Whichever you choose will affect and more than likely reflect your outcomes.
It's going to reflect your outcome. Right? All right. Your tradition brings about death. It's going to bring about a physical death, but that's okay. We all going to have that physical separation. What we don't want is that spiritual death. Now, I don't even want to talk about the physical death because the Bible says you know, there are some that'll never die. It's a transition. Isn't that a great thing? People, he died. No, he said the righteous ain't never die. Right? Let's go ahead and read. It brings about death.
It brings about death. One would ask, how does the celebration of Christmas bring about death? The Bible said that the wages of sin is death. When the Father or Son gives us a commandment, another word for commandment is law, it is by not obeying this commandment that we fall into sin, for sin is the transgression of the law. 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. In both the Old and New Testament, we were warned not to add to the Bible. God is so against man adding their own ways to his ways that in Revelation 22 said, "Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God Elohim shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book."
Let's keep reading the next that verse.
"And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God Elohim shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book."
So don't take what I say And don't you add nothing new. Don't add no new interpretation. Daddy, can you take us to McDonald's? Clean up the kitchen. I think about it. Daddy said he gonna take us to McDonald's when we clean. I didn't say that. I'd have been down there. I didn't. That's not what. That's not what I said. Don't. Hey, don't change my thought. Now, listen. People gonna say that's impossible. What God thought when He said it is exactly how we need to have. We got to have it today. You know how difficult that is for people to accept? That exactly what He thought when He said, thou shalt not kill. It didn't say thou shalt not kill until somebody really make you mad. It didn't say it's okay to kill when somebody has wronged you. Right? Whatever His interpretation is, the exact interpretation He gave when He said it is the exact interpretation we got to have today. Now, you can say it's impossible all you want. When you stand before Him, say, well, you know, God, that's impossible. Yeah. See how that work out for you. So we got to create this sense of urgency before people that we got to get back to the original ways. I don't care how nice you were as a father or as a mother. I don't care what you did for the community. All that means absolutely nothing. I don't care how big your church is. We got school and we got training for our members. Yeah, that's fine and dandy. That's another trick to deceive people. Because now you're looking at the works. You're looking at the works of the church. You're looking at the works of people. And you saying they righteous based off of their personal works. Not based off of what the Bible says. All right. We got one more. Is that it? One more? Your traditions are wrong. Are all traditions bad?
Not all.
Okay.
The ones that transgress the law.
Oh, that was the first sentence, so I was about to see who.
Your traditions are wrong. All traditions are not bad. That is not what we are expressing in this class. But one major thing that is missed by those who celebrate many religious festivals is that you don't have the right, as honorable as you may think it is, to worship, celebrate the Father or Son as you deem fit. All throughout the New Testament, Christ's ministry was full of condemnation of those within Yisrael who was worshiping the Father according to how they wanted to.
Listen, how would you feel if you just met a wonderful person, wonderful guy, a wonderful young lady, and I talked to my young fellas here, and they all into you like, oh, no, man, she the one, and they said, well, I'm gonna cook for you, man. She cooking for me. Did he call me? Oh, and then you go over and she got this nice salad. Like, man, the salad was hitting. She got a nice soup. Man, soup was a bomb. Here come the main meal. Big old bowl of shrimp. It's admirable. I appreciate it. But as much as you appreciate it, as much as their heart was in the right place, is that okay? So it's not, you looking at, is it okay, Frank? You looking at him like, what? Frank, Frank, you looked at Leon like, why you say that? No, you say what? No, she didn't give me no shrimp. Look, she looking at me like, boy, you better shut up. No, I wasn't saying it towards her. She didn't do that. But but it takes you knowing somebody. It takes you knowing somebody and then conforming. Now, you don't have to conform because you can always, go to somebody who like eating that type of stuff. But so y'all wants us to get to know him. Yeah, you did a whole bunch of things. You celebrated his birth. Well, you really didn't. You just were getting gifts and it was a day off work because you didn't go to church. Most people who celebrate Christmas don't go to church. I think they have a sunrise service or something like that. But that's all smoke screen. Right? For you doing your pagan, whatever. And that's what the world did. They smoked. So you got to get to know Yah. And Elder Nate say it all the time. Aunt Ruth, you say it all the time. You're going to have to come up to his standard. He ain't lowering his standards. Don't you lower your standards, young man, for no girl. I don't care how pretty she is. I don't care how she don't compromise. Go ahead, Leah. Get the mic. No, I got to tell them. Because sometimes we compromise, she eats shrimp sometimes, but not in front of me. Now you start compromising. Oh, I know. Yes, sir.
Okay, so something like that, right? Like, say that exact situation happened. Would this be like an indicator, like the shrimp? Would it be an indicator to like stay away, or would it be like an opportunity to like enlighten her? Right.
You got to choose. You got voila. You got to choose.
Okay. So then, what about like tradition wise though?
Well, you got to choose. I mean, listen. You know why you pray every day? Because sometimes we don't pray. You ask Yah to give you wisdom throughout the day. Because I got married. And the person I married, right, they didn't know. Everybody knows you. I didn't say your name. No. No.
For clarification, by
No,
the
but-
time he got married, she did know. It was during the dating phase.
Yeah. Now,
She did not know.
no, you
Clarify
listen.
these things.
Let me tell you something. You got to
you-
be, the Bible says you got to be wise to win souls. Because I got my wife, I got 3 kids who one day may have kids, and they got friends. Now, listen, there are some brothers and some sisters would just walk out like, you know what, this is the end of the day because you order such and such. Right? Do we all know somebody in the church that'll do that? Just like, absolutely not. But should you do that? You know why you shouldn't do that? Because I'm married. And she loves me dearly. But, so you got to ask Yah, even in those sinful situations that we may deem sinful, you got to ask Yah every day to lead you throughout the day, give you wisdom, to make the right decisions, to say the right things. Because I didn't. I saw certain things in her fridge. I'm like, ooh, sister girl got, I ain't say nothing. Man, had a whole slab of catfish. We went out, she's like, I said, well, let me get a couple of chicken. I don't know what I got. Let me get a couple of tacos or whatever. She's like, yeah, give me some shrimp. I'm like, man, I thought a girl was a vegetarian. She's like, you want some? I'm like, no, I'm good. No, Chad. No, I'm good. Why? You don't eat this? No. Why? Religious, she's like, I said, yeah, I said, we'll talk about it. No, I don't eat that. We'll talk about it. Didn't get a kiss that night. Go ahead, Leon.
So then, like, you should just keep it in mind.
Say that again.
So, like, something like that, you just, like, take note of
Well,
until, like, the right moment or
you-
something.
yeah.
Because I think you told us about, like, the way you're really supposed to go about stuff like that before, but I vaguely remember.
Yeah, but you don't tell her, especially you got feelings for her, but like, hey, that's a sin. While she eating it. So y'all gotta just, it may be the next day, it might be 2 days. Hey, I want to talk to you about like why I don't. And then she may get curious. Oh, I never knew that. I think my wife said that. So there you go. We can talk about that all day. All right. Enough about you, Miss Ronnie. He rejected this form of worship. Let's read that part.
We as spokesmen must remember we are in a land which was formed out of a Gentile culture, so it is not wise to condemn things just because its roots are Gentile in nature. Our language, English, is not a holy or pure language. The way we dress and conduct business is not a part of the Hebrew culture. Therefore, we should stay clear from making the direct statement that we shouldn't do a thing because because it originated from the Gentile.
Do we understand that? The 4th of July is not pagan. We are a nation inside of a nation. I'm not saying put on your red, white, and blue jumpsuit. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying go and have this big 4th of July party. We honoring, I don't forgot the year, 17. Huh? Yeah, I mean, I can watch some fireworks. I watch the fireworks. Don't say Thanksgiving. It's pagan. You said what? 4th of July fell on Friday. I had to close the windows upstairs. People looking out the window trying to look at the fireworks while we having service. No, they didn't do that. Yeah, somebody did ask how we still having service. Because it was the 4th of July. Yeah. But no, seriously. Like Thanksgiving is not pagan. You can choose not to do it. You know, and we always talk about this. This come up every year. Why is it things, whatever. If you cook, you cook. You can do whatever you want. We don't honor it because you ain't going to tell me to honor killing of the folks in this land. And now you going to change the narrative on me and have me still do it. So am I saying you wrong for going somewhere? You that is your, you know? People say, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Hey, what's going on? You know, I just kind of, I'm not going to say, baby, happy Thanksgiving. You got some food for me? Give me some food. You know, but I don't even engage in that. So I got to be careful in making things a law. Although, is it wrong what they did? Yeah. Are they trying to change the narrative to make me forget? But I got something I'm not going to forget. And so that's my personal protest. I ain't going to forget. I know somebody said, I don't even cook on November 24th. Good for you. No, I'm not cooking nothing. Because Thanksgiving is about feasting and this and that, so I'm not cooking. Yeah. No, so we got to be careful. Listen, this is the Bible said, it was in Romans, that one man esteemeth one day over another. Let him be convinced or whatever, converted. Yeah, so if you think it's wrong, some people don't celebrate their anniversary. Because you said that's pagan. Okay. If that's what you're going to go with, then guess what? It's a sin for you to do it. But you can't make me. If you're a vegetarian, eat your vegetarian food. But don't say, man, you shouldn't be eating that. Hey, mind your business, because the Bible didn't tell me that I can't eat that. Don't keep judging me about me eating the things that the Bible told me I can eat. I'm not making no law against tilapia. There are some people say we're gonna make a pact. We're not eating tilapia. Don't say that. Don't make no pact in here. Because a tilapia got scales and fins. It don't matter if it swim at the bottom. It got the mechanisms in its body to ward off anything that it consumes. It got scales and fins. Okay? Let's read our last Bible verse. This is, I don't know, but I do know it's verse 29. Deuteronomy 12, we will read 29 through 31.
When the Yahweh your Elohim goes ahead of you and destroys the nations, and you drive them out and live in their land, do not fall into the trap of following their customs and worshiping their gods. Do not inquire about their gods, saying, how do these nations worship their gods? I want to follow their example. You must not worship the Yahweh your Elohim the way the other nations worship their gods, for they perform their gods for they perform for their gods every detestable act that the Yahweh hates. They even burn their sons and daughters as sacrifices to their gods.
They was crazy. Now, they were crazy. But some people did that. Well, their gods were higher than their kids. If you think about it, let me ask you this question: is your God higher than your kids? Not, that's not the point. The point is what you're doing. What you're doing. No, what you're doing is worse. How many people have folks say something sideways to them? There was somebody that said something to me last week. They said, well, man, I wish, I'm trying to think of how they said it. You can give me some of your Saturdays. Well, they want to do things. And I'm not giving up my Saturday. I don't care who you are. I'm not giving them Saturday, play around with you in no barbecue grill or something like that. So you can see me. So that's just the equivalent. People look at me and get mad at me, but he'll never go and do certain things. And people gonna do it to you. People gonna say, well, how come you ain't going to the funeral? I see you the day before. Well, no, they may not schedule it, but I'm saying other people in your family, they may not get it. You know what I'm saying? They may not get it. So they be like, you wrong. Because you're not coming and paying respect to your aunt or whatever. So, they not going to understand. Now, you got to communicate that. Hey, well, I'll be there. I'll be there at the, what do you call it, the wake? No, before. The day before. The visitation. Now, I'll be there at the visitation. I'll see y'all at the repast. So that's my, and listen, they're not going to ever understand. They're not going to ever understand. So you can say it, you can show it in the Bible, they're not trying to hear it. So when you talk about this Bible verse where they were sacrificing or burning their child, their God was here. Like we love our Lord. And no, we don't do nothing crazy like that. But they think you crazy. They think you crazy for keeping the Passover. They think you crazy. They come here like you all are in a coat. Why the ladies got their heads covered? Isn't that crazy? The Bible talks about it. I'm not even talking about the Old Testament. The New Testament talks about it. But yet you crazy. The Bible talks about the white is the garment in the kingdom of the saints. But you crazy for putting it on. Everything that the Bible tells us to do, you crazy for doing it. So, I don't know. Yeah, so I don't try to understand people. I always say this in a funny way, but I'm dead serious. I don't try to understand crazy. People are like, man, I wonder why. What you mean you wonder? I don't wonder why. They crazy. So why are you trying to make sense out of it? So, listen, I'm so thankful. Whatever persecution or whatever we got to go through, but I always say this, that you got to get your own conviction that you're walking in truth, and you better stand on it. Because people are going to try to pull you off your square, and they're going to try to pull you back. And they do it subtly. They'll try to do it in increments. But Satan is always working through other people, the nicest people in the world. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's your best friend. I don't care if it's your father. I don't care if it's your sister. Satan will work through people to get to you, to destroy you, to cause you to be pulled into a custom that is not part of his custom. You don't be cursing folks out like folks in the world curse folks out. Right? That's not your culture. The Bible said, let this mind be in you that was also in Yasha Mashika. So we should act like him and we should think like him. Right? And we should make the decisions the same way he'll make his decisions. So we thank y'all We're at the end of our class. And we thank y'all for this class and just for giving us an understanding. If nothing more, to give us, we need to talk, right? To have these discussions because these are things that we face, and we need to know that we have brothers and sisters. We got a remnant that Yah still has on earth that you can get encouragement from, right? And that you can grow from, that you can learn from, you can embrace. But this is the right thing. So will you take on the responsibility of doing your part so that not just our sons and daughters, but that they sons and daughters, that the entire world can get this? We got to make a splash. I don't want to close my eyes without making a splash, without seeing the manifestation of putting my foot on Satan's neck. To see people come out of their culture and their false religion, their false worship, despite the entire world, you got to be something special to come out of the world. I'm talking about 99% of the world. We that 1%. And that 1% is going to do something so great. It's going to be do something so significant that the world going to know who you are. I want you to, well, you got to believe it first. I don't tell you what I want you to believe. You got to believe that. And so we thank y'all again for our class. Anybody have anything closing before we close? Any last comments? We good? We when she bring them chops out to you, we good? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, we're going to get ready to close out. We thank y'all for this class and each and every one of you being attentive and just engaging and learning more about Yah. We thank those that have joined us online, our Nashville congregation. We say Toda Yah for them, fellowshipping and growing. We will be back next week. I'm not sure if it'll be I think it may be the same time, because next week is the first day of Kanukat's 8-day feast. It is a solemn assembly, so we will be gathering for 8 days in Yah's house. So you can go to work. It's not a holy convocation. So yeah, that's it. We look forward to seeing you all. Want to encourage you. Our website is back up, Dr. Tate. Yes, there you go. So yeah, I was on with our developer today, and he got it back up. So you can go and pay your tithes and offering, and then visit our website, tvbethel.net. And then we want to encourage you to visit our podcast page at restorationpodcast.com. You can follow us on all streaming platforms at My Restoration Podcast. So that is it. We are done for today. We look forward to seeing you next week at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. On behalf of our late restored Chief Shepherd, Dr. Amon, on behalf of our elders, Elder Avery, Elder Nate, I'm Elder Benah, want to depart you as I greeted you by saying Shabbat Shalom.